Evening, everyone. My name is Jason Horth. I am one of the co-founders of AnonTech. We're a new startup in the Capital Region. We started in December of last year, so we've been around for a few months. We're a technology and services business aiming to help organizations, get a handle around the technology side when it comes to data privacy and personal information management. What does it actually mean? I think everyone's seen this before. When you visit a website, you have this privacy banner on the bottom of the page, right? This is a regulatory requirement for organizations that they have to put this on there. And then when you go to a website and you accept this, you're accepting the fact that this organization is collecting information on you. They're possibly sharing this information with an advertising company to better your experience. I mean, they're doing it to do business. But this was a regulatory driver and born from regulation. So you guys have seen this, everyone's seen this, and organizations need this information to do business. But obviously with the regulations coming in, this banner is actually the tip of the iceberg for what is an organization is actually bound to actually do. So users now have rights, okay? With California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, and also GDPR, users have the ability to basically moderate this content with organizations, okay? And this obviously this moderation creates a burden, okay, for an organization because you now have these additional tasks that you have to go down the path of managing back and forth with the user. California was the first, okay, but there's a few other ones that have pushed out regulations, and then there's many more coming. And obviously in the EU with GDPR, that was the big driver for last year, and why the banners you saw on the first page are kind of exist today. This is a cost assessment, or like anticipated cost and impact report from Berkeley, okay, of what the costs for an organization. You have the FTEs down the left-hand side. So businesses of less than 20 people, their initial cost for handling CCPA is a little less than $50,000, and then they extend up from there up to $2 million plus for a larger organization. And this is just the initial cost. Like the world of subject access requests, where like you or I can go and ask an organization what information you have on me, that hasn't even opened up yet because there's not great platforms for that yet. That burden is coming further down the line. Oh, one key point is the technology cost on the bottom. One of the reasons why you see technology being the highest cost in this is because that's where the data is, right? So whenever you have to deal with an issue related to privacy, that's where you're going to have to go is your technology and operations organization, which is why your costs are higher there. When it comes to the state of businesses are not ready. You have new privacy requirements. You have new security requirements, which I didn't even talk about yet, but there's a variety of new cyber breach protection regulations that are being pushed out there. No one wants to be in the news associated with a personal information privacy breach. That's very damaging to an organization. And then obviously implementing governance workflow controls can be very expensive. So you have these organizations in not such a great position, and then you have this world of subject access requests where users can actually go and ask for this information. That's going to be even more burdensome to an organization and more costly. Wouldn't it be nice if the organization actually set themselves up to be able to have more privacy by design? Their technologies today are not developed that way. We deliver components that help you kind of get there. So at our core, we're a technology company with a product line dedicated to helping organizations manage personal information and deliver services off of that, right? So I'll cover VisiVault in a second, but everything starts with an assessment, okay? So what we do is we go into an organization and we assess your technology stack, we assess your operational readiness, we do a full-blown analysis of your risk profile, and then we come back with a proposal. And that proposal is going to include, or could include, our product line, which helps you kind of manage personal information in your environment. But that assessment alone is valuable. We are actually probably going to be signing our first assessment in the next 2 or 3 weeks, which is really cool. We're very different than a governance and certification process, which is kind of like the way that what currently is out there for the solution sets. We're much deeper. We're attacking at the bottom layer. If you had technology before, if you foresaw this problem coming in 5, 10 years ago, you would have designed your systems in a way to be able to help you kind of get this deal with these problems. That didn't exist, so now we're making it. So this month, we're actually releasing 2 products. So we're releasing our VisiVault Core and our first app, which is built on top of the framework. You can leverage our VisiVault Core app, our Core API, to be able to prepare yourself and manage personal information in your environment. And it's an extensible framework, okay, which we can build applications on top of it. You can build applications on top of it. It's designed to be very reusable. The VisiVault Enterprise is our system moderator application. This is where you go to kind of control your environment. This is where your chief information security officer or your data privacy officer would be able to log in, understand all personal information, where it is, what regulatory bounds you have on what locations. Everything about personal information would be understood and managed. This is an unreadable screenshot. I apologize. But this is a shot of VisiVault Enterprise. This is where your CISO group would log in. They can understand what fields are where. They're able to control permissions on those fields, what applications have access to which vaults in your organization. They're able to understand everything about what personal information you have in your environment. Where we are today, we're rolling out our services and product offering later this month. As I mentioned, we're switching our focus from product to customer acquisition. Spaces we're targeting are retailer, healthcare, and education. Our first client's actually automotive services, even though I did put it on there. Sorry. And then our sales targets are technology leadership, information security leadership, and data privacy officers. One of the reasons our targets are healthcare, retailers, and education is because of our relationships that we have with existing partners. So this is our team. We have a very strong technology and operational team. And then you mix that with Bill on the far right, who is a phenomenal business development executive. We have the makings of a pretty solid team. So, and this is something, and he's phenomenal at new logo acquisition, and he has phenomenal relationships. So, we think we have a solid team, and then we have a great partner network. David Gibson's in the room. I'm sure he loves his name there, and then a variety of other folks. Assistants we're looking for. So we're obviously customers. So we're new, right? We're brand new business. We're just releasing our first product. Obviously, we're listening to clients and potential clients to get feedback and kind of drive what we're doing there. But then obviously the partnerships that make sense, like adjacent organizations would be nice to work with. And then obviously additional funding. So thank you. Are there any questions? No? Okay, good. Good. Who are your competitors? So competitors, actually, it's very difficult, okay? I actually have a slide on it, but if I go to it, I'm have to explain it for a while. But it's very new. It's a very new space, okay? There are a lot of different opinions on kind of how how this stuff should be managed. Some of our competitors say that the information should be managed on your cell phone, right? And then your company requests access to it. I came from corporate America. That ain't gonna work, okay, for a while at least, okay? Other competitors are targeting kind of this, the SAR request side, going from the user side, being able to request, like what information organizations have. That's not really a competitor of ours, but they're still involved in information. We're aiming to, we haven't seen a direct competitor for us, not saying it exists, doesn't exist, okay? But we haven't seen one who's targeting deploying a cloud component that you can pull into your environment to manage your personal information, and then kind of has an API that you can set yourself up with apps off of the top of it. We just haven't seen it. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, though.
What's your target market?
target market. So we're hitting retailers right now. Obviously, automotive services is our first client. But we are anybody who it's very broad. It's actually a hard question to answer because anybody who houses or hosts personal information could actually be a client for us. But we're targeting retailer, healthcare, and automotive services is the first client.
Why does a retailer or healthcare company need to buy your service or your software?
Because the standard, so I mean, HIPAA. Obviously, if you look at HIPAA, right? HIPAA is currently a regulatory requirement for the healthcare space, but personal information is still it still doesn't give you enough of it. Like there are a few providers like Human API is the name of a company that I saw that does a lot of the healthcare HIPAA trying to get information back, but personal information extends into the healthcare space, and also like you still have like you still have non-healthcare health related information associated with users. Does that make sense? Thank you guys.